if you decide that you don't want to be with a personality disordered abusive person anymore, it's really simple, though not necessarily easy, but you have to gather evidence, video, audio, and call the police and tell on them before you do anything. You have to not tell them what you're gonna do. It's really important to keep your mouth shut, because they will manipulate you and convince you to not do it, or they will harm you and do things to stop you from doing it. So as a person who's been in situations like this, I know that we think that if we tell them that we're going to X, Y, and Z, that'll stop whatever it is from happening, or that at least is a fair chance and opportunity for that person to stop. But the risk of them not stopping is too high, and the risk of them getting more violent is too high, and the risk to our health and well-being in life, like as being alive still on earth, is too high. So when you decide to take action, you have to do it in silence and with doing your diligence. I could have literally prevented every problem that I've had if I had just done that. I didn't know, because I've never known anyone that decided to leave. Like in my personal family and life, people just stayed. And I guess there are some that left, but I didn't know like the full details of what they did, and maybe they left being unprepared as well, so they didn't get as much safety from the danger that they otherwise could have. I don't know, but I didn't have enough information, and I didn't understand that people don't just believe you because you're telling the truth, because they don't know that you're telling the truth. And the people that aren't telling the truth, they don't know who's who. I was trying to get a rock, but apparently it's not as tiny as it appeared. Trying to get more of those, but it was a huge rock that looked tiny. So it's super simple. You have to do your diligence. You have to get really concrete evidence. Record them yelling. Record them throwing shit. If they're really a smart one, they're going to not write stuff in text. They'll say it when they don't believe they're being recorded. So you have to like almost go into every situation already recording it before, because you don't know which situation's going to escalate into a thing and which one's not. So you go in prepared, as though every single situation could turn into something. And then if it ends up not turning into anything, you just delete it, right? But like you have to be proactive and go into every situation on the defensive. Is that the right thing? Anyways, I think you get the idea. It's important to have evidence because courts don't know who the liar is and who the truth teller is. And if you don't go in with evidence, people that shouldn't get things, like access to your children unsupervised. And then your children get damaged and hurt. And there's not as much, you can't do as much when you're not in the home with them. Because you're not there watching it, you're not there seeing it. And they're going to keep things from you because of a variety of reasons. They'll not tell you stuff. And even if they tell you stuff, it doesn't matter. Because the court doesn't just automatically believe you. They are automatically going to be told by the opposing party that you're lying and making up stuff to make them look bad. Even though you're not. But, an abuser that doesn't want to get caught is obviously going to lie about it, period. And so once the separation happens and the children are in these people's care unsupervised, it's a nightmare to get evidence unless you have kids that are really brave and honest and strong. And the kids are even more attached to the other parent than maybe even you were as a person that's staying in that situation. And they're going to protect that parent, hide and lie for them even more than you did, because they're like the kid of that parent. I can go get another husband, but I can't go get another dad or mom. So I'm going to be way more likely as a child to lie for and protect that parent and lie about the abuse than I would be if it was a replaceable spouse, is what I've realized. And even though, because of who I am, for whatever reason I was born this way, I never identified with my parents as being so important and a part of me, and I have to lie and protect these people. I would tell on my parents for doing stuff they shouldn't be doing, or for even doing stuff I didn't realize they shouldn't be doing. Because I was like, wow, what's the big deal? Why are you lying about this? I was just really innocent and honest, and I thought, and authentic, and I just thought that we can be open and honest, and we shouldn't be ashamed of certain things, and we should be ashamed of other things, and we should be told on for those things. So I didn't realize that not every kid's like me, and I was also a nice person. I was just born that way. I wasn't born violent and mean, and I was really quiet and just did the right thing, basically, because it was the right thing. Somehow I knew what that was as a child, even though it wasn't necessarily being displayed to me through the actions of the adults. I just assumed that my children would be the same way. And boy, was I confused and wrong. So we can't count on kids to do things after the fact. We have to be the ones to do it. And once we're not in the home, it's dang near impossible. So when you decide you're going to leave, you have to then start preparing while still staying. I don't know exactly what I was thinking when I decided to leave the situation I was in. I didn't realize the danger to children, I think. And I just thought, since I'm the one deciding to leave, then I'll just leave him with everything, including the children. But the younger two of the older 4 begged me to fight and to stay, like to be the one to fight for them. And I was like, oh shit, I didn't realize that they would want me to do that. Like I didn't, for whatever reason at that time, I think they were more innocent and younger and more honest. And I was the one that had always taken care of them at that point. And so they wanted me to continue to play that role. And so I did. But what I should have done is not left yet. I should have stayed and recorded things and gathered more evidence. But I waited too long to leave because I wasn't planning on leaving. And because of that, I freaked out. I was having major anxiety, and every fiber of my being just couldn't stay anymore. And so I just impulsively made a decision without doing my diligence, without having gathered evidence whatsoever, basically. And I was so emotionally distraught, and I didn't have money. I didn't have anything to, retain legal help or anything. And so I had to represent myself. And I did pretty dang good, actually. But I could have fared a lot better had I done my diligence first. So it's really important for us to slow down, say way less to anyone, because you don't know who's gonna turn on you and help them. People that I thought were my best friends turned on me and helped them. And their excuse was that I had changed. And that's why, I had to change or I wouldn't have left, right? If I'd stayed the same, I would have stayed. So I think there was more to it than what that person said personally. But that's what they would admit to. And so I thought that person, for example, would come to my defense because I would tell that person everything that had gone on. That person didn't. They helped him. So you can't count on other people. People are confused and they're messed up and they let themselves get influenced, etc. So you have to basically just rely on yourself and you doing your diligence, you taking your time, you keeping real quiet, and not telling anyone anything, including not telling the kids. Like I would come and get in between this person and my kids to save them from him beating them up. So I was so confident that they would have my back, and they didn't. I don't entirely understand why to this day. But to this day, they help defend and protect this person that would have beat them to death many times, potentially to death, had I not gotten in between him and them. Didn't matter. So you can't tell anyone, you can't trust anyone. And I'm not suggesting that you proceed with fear and paranoia, because that energy isn't going to help you. It's going to use up your energy unnecessarily. But you're going to proceed quietly, telling no one and trusting no one in wisdom and knowing and clarity that people are very easily confused. They're very easily influenced. And they very easily make extremely bad decisions that in the long run are damaging people permanently. And our planet's going to continue to suffer if we continue to have these damaged kids turned adults. And so we didn't know, you know, we trusted people, and we got together with them, and we made babies with them. And then somehow we knew, somehow we found out. And so then we wanted to save ourselves from it. But I had to take our kids too. I had to save them too. If not, well, we just screwed up, because now we just made like a whole bunch more of them potentially to go out in the world and do the exact identical thing as they did. I just realized that wasn't a rock, it was part of a broken pipe. That's not special. Sorry, broken pipe. So when you decide to leave, don't leave. Not right away. You get real sneaky, real quiet, and start preparing. You have to be really careful. Like, you cannot get caught, because if you get caught, you might be dead. You might be dead, because people that lose control lose it to the point where even if they didn't mean for you to die, you did. I'm not saying that like every abuser is out there with the intention of, I'm gonna want to murder this person, but they get so angry and violent and they're strong that then they did, and it was an accident, but they still did it. So you have to shut the fuck up and never tell a single soul what you're doing, period. And you just do it. And it didn't matter that some of the children weren't even biologically his. They're the ones that are the staunchest supporters of him. I don't know why. Because I protected them with my actual life. I stopped him from beating them up more than anyone. It didn't matter. And I don't know why. I guess one day I'll find out. I've come up with possibilities to help myself feel better about it, but I really don't know why. And so you can't even trust them, even if they're complaining to you, because they would complain to me. They're the ones that told me a lot of the stuff I would end up finding out. And they backstabbed and betrayed me more than anyone, as far as many times as they have. But then the two that told me to fight ended up joining those people and betraying and backstabbing me equally the same. So I don't know exactly what's going on and how this happened or how it could even possibly happen, but it did. So you cannot trust anyone. My own parents, my own children, my own siblings, my children that weren't biologically his, and children that were, have helped him. My son's girlfriend went from super sweet and supportive to totally turning on me in like overnight. And I have no idea what happened to this day. I have no idea. I was told that he helped them when I wouldn't, but I'd been handing them wads of hundreds, thousands of dollars worth of money, not because I was buying them, but because I was paying them for things they were actually doing for me. So maybe he gave them more without expecting them to earn it. I don't know. I can only speculate. But I know that there was a lot of expensive things being given to them, money being given to them, and to this day. Even though, of course, they lie and deny it. I know that, cars have been given, braces that they didn't need, clothes, shoes, fake nails, makeup, fake lashes, like every material thing that you can imagine. Going out to eat constantly, not just like disgusting fast food. Like he goes to like actual real restaurants. I just realized I have money on a coupon thing for one of the restaurants that I took him to, and now he continuously takes my children to it. Nothing wrong with that necessarily, but you know, the lying and backstabbing of their own mom to be able to continue to get this stuff is like really creepy, really evil and demonic shit. And none of that should have been a thing if I had done my due diligence. Like, I literally am to blame for what I've done to my children, turning them into demons. Literally. And you don't have to repeat my mistakes. Please do your diligence. Contact me if you want, you know, just some verbal support and guidance. I would not dare to charge you a dime to be there for you, period. So don't ever be worried about that. Never hesitate to contact me as a supporter, because you can't trust people, anyone in your life. Even if you think you can, can't. Don't risk it. In the end, you know, you'll find out who's really there for you and who's not. But when it's so important, you can't take those risks. So you can go to my website, wildmotherswisdom.com, and send me an email there. Because if you leave a message here, wherever I post this, I don't read my messages, because I don't want to get influenced by either criticism or praise. I just can't risk it. So I don't read them. It's not to be rude or anything like that, but I can't get influenced, so I can't risk getting influenced. So if you need support from a person that can encourage you to keep your mouth shut and to remind you what steps to take before taking any action, period, whatsoever, email me through my website, please and thank you.